evening, everybody. Welcome to Experience the People's Podcast. I'm JL, your anti-guru. I'm your host. And tonight, my guest is Denielle Paige. We're going to be talking about her new venture, Culturally Innovative Minds. Let me stop the music and we're going to jump right into it. Denielle, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk with us tonight, but I'm going to read your bio here. Denielle Paige has a deep love and passion for humanity. She's an advocate for psychological wellness and the founder and CEO of Culturally Innovative Minds. She is also a graduate of historically HBCU. What college did you go to?
Mississippi State University.
SU, yes, SU.
Alumni, yes.
And she is a member of Phi Chi Honor Society. See, I told you I was going to mess up. Which recognizes excellence in the field of psychology. Denielle has previously served as the president of the African American Diversity Group, where she successfully organized events that benefited many in our community. With years of experience in humanitarian services and community engagement, she has been dedicated to promoting health and mental wellness. She is a virtuous woman, a proud dog mom, and resident of Winston-Salem. I told you I was going to mess up.
That's fine. That sounds good, though. Yes.
I do it all the time. Let me change my camera. So now facing forward. So we're looking at each other. So again, Denielle, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a busy woman. We appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on here. I've been excited about it. Yes.
I know, right? We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks and we finally got you on.
Yes.
But look, let's jump right into it. I know people are curious to find out what is Culturally Innovative Minds and how does that differ from other organizations?
Wow. So Culturally Innovative Mind is basically started at a grassroots level. We are newly established with the Secretary of State, but this has been years and years upcoming to this point here. So we definitely just take a practical way or maybe a little radical thinking just to combat some social injustice issues in our community. So we specialize in education, also justice studies, and then physical and mental wellness. And what really makes us unique is that we really know from firsthand experience, if it's direct or indirect in all of those core areas in the organization. I mean, we come from some humbling beginnings. We got an exceptional team. I mean, we're highly knowledgeable. We're definitely different and unique. It's because we're from, these communities that is being impacted. I'm really from Old Greensboro Road. That's like towards the east side of town. But I'm still respected there. And then also if we need to do something in city council or we need to go speak to some of these principals at these schools that's obviously failing statistically. And we can be influential there as well. So super excited.
Yeah.
So ready out there.
And you talk about Old Greensboro Road, that's kind of part of my stomping ground because I grew up over in Northwood Estates, right off Carver School Road. But I have many classmates who lived on that street. So I've been up and down that road many times, Yeah. But when you talk about schools, I know there's a vast gap. I know that young Black boys are reading at, I think I'm not sure, it might be in high school, they're actually only reading at a 4th and 5th grade level. I know that is definitely a problem. I think a lot of times our young men, they get labeled early in life, and that there's a lot of this is a big picture because I know that is when you talk about this kind of issue, it stems all the way back to the family where we have lots of single parent homes, more so now than we ever have had in the past. And no disrespect to single moms. I mean, I was raised by a single mom, but I know that having a 2-parent household, statistically, children always do better in a 2-parent home. So when you talk about that kind of issue, is that something that you're trying to tackle as well? Is trying to get the reading and writing levels of our young children up in our community?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a part of our framework. Hopefully, I'll have a little time to share my screen, but I went in there and start looking at the averages of the schools. And I mean, all of this is plug information. I mean, statistically all over the web, easy to access. And I mean, schools right here in my community, I mean, they all have Fs. I mean, they're failing. And it's like, it's known. And it's just time for CIM has plans on going in there. It's easily to pick out what schools needs to be addressed. Go ahead and offer some tutoring. I mean, we're pretty knowledgeable. We have a nice team that we can go out there and definitely get these scores up when it's time for EEGs or what have you, that we're available. And we do want to do some tutoring with that. Um, and really with fourth grade test scores, they're actually coming up with like how many gels that they're going to be producing off these failing scores. It's like statistically known that, you know, if you're doing poor in the fourth grade testing, that they're already shaping you for the penal system. I mean, the prison industrial complex is thriving. I mean, they make 180 something billion a year.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So
I know
all
that.
of this
Uh,
stuff, like, yeah, I mean, we know direct and indirect, and we can clearly see it, and we want to step in, and if something has to be done, and we got a great team that's dedicated to do that.
well, like you said, the school system in general, uh, it's it's almost like they train, because I saw this somewhere where you know our country has changed so much, because we started off as an agricultural based society, and then we moved into industrial, and the school system definitely fosters that, just like with, you got bells, so it teaches you when to go to class, when to change, when to go to lunch, and it translates into a job, because they do the same thing in factories. But now we have switched to a more technological society. We are being hailed by an enemy vessel. Uh-oh. Well, told you I was gonna hit by an enemy vessel. We'll have to come back to that one. But so it directly relates to how they're conditioning people, also to be like drones, and critical thinking. I know in the school system, they taken out, and and correct me if I'm wrong, but music and some of the arts that were prevalent when I was coming up, they don't teach a lot of that anymore.
I mean, that is true. I mean, just basic cursive writing. I don't know. Sometimes on a psychological level, pen to paper is more effective with memory and learning. And the fact that all of that is being taken out and so easily to be distracted on these devices, I mean, it definitely needs to be addressed for sure.
Yeah, now you talk about like and I saw something as a video or something talking about how kids today, they got their phones, they got their tablets, and we need to limit the amount of time that they spend on these devices, because it has a broader influence on them, and parents need to, hey, put that thing down, pick up a book, or engage with their children more. My mother was a teacher, so of course in our house, education was pushed, and reading and writing and all these different things. And even though she was a single mother raising 4 kids by herself, she took time out to engage each one of us and made sure that we got our schoolwork done, and that even the type of television that we watch. Of course, television programming has definitely changed in today's world, but I think that's one of the bigger problems, or bigger symptoms, is that single moms today, they sometimes they have to work more than one job just to put food on the table, with the price of everything being so high. You know.
Right, right. And really, with all the rays that come from these devices, it's really not good on the brain. I mean, it's
Mhm.
really damaging the brain more than this beneficial entertainment, and it's just, and easy things are accessible. I mean, me again, I'm a psychology major, so I'm gonna always have some sort of scientific method or some science in it. And it's the more stuff you really put in, it subconsciously gets stuck there. And then
Mhm.
you want to understand or don't know why, like your child is acting a certain way, the behavior, or dancing or dressing a certain behaviors, because they're going through all this stuff on these social media platforms, and subconsciously it's sticking. So
Yeah.
we kind of have to take a little bit more effort on limiting that exposure, because it's not good.
Yeah. So tell me, what actually inspired you to start Culturally Innovative Minds?
Again, just the firsthand experience, indirect or directly, on the effects in this society. And then also my college. I mean, going into an HBCU, they stress that you come in to learn and you depart to serve. Like, once you get educated, don't just go and, yes, you're going to go and earn a lot of money. Yes, you're going to buy your house and your cars. But the thing is, you just don't continue to go off to the suburb. No, you actually come back. You bring that information back to your community. You bring them up and give them the knowledge and these practical ways that I'm trying to show in CIM, our culturally innovative minds, to thrive in the environment. So I love my HBCU for that. Also, some of my favorite psychologists, Dr. Francis Quest Westling, Dr. Amos Wilson. I mean, all of these psychiatrists and doctors, they take a almost like an Afrocentric perspective towards psychology, because we're not going to be able to, in certain situations, use the standard westernized form of psychology for a mental wellness. It's going to have to be a little different. And CIM is definitely ready to tailor, those things, and not reinvent the wheel. It's already there, but just tailoring it to our community. And we're pretty good. I can't wait till everyone gets more information on us and tap in.
Well, so what are some of your main goals that you want to achieve with your organization? We know we talked about tutoring kids and uh, mentoring them,
Mhm.
and then we've touched on promoting health and mental wellness. I know, one of the things I believe that you can probably agree, most of our people have had some type of trauma in their lives. I advocate um, getting therapy, but a lot of times, I know growing up and when years ago, mental issues and mental health, that was like a taboo. Nobody talked about it, but don't talk about those kind of things, or you just need to get over it. And sometimes you just can't get over some of this trauma, and it could be all kinds of things, whether it's bad relationships or involvement with law enforcement or some type of sexual abuse or mental abuse of some type. I think that is another one of the leading causes why we have so many dysfunctional families and dysfunctional people. I mean, I don't know what are your thoughts on that issue?
Definitely, we really all have trauma. I mean, they call it post-slavery syndrome, where we're still trying to combat that. I mean, we are the biggest class, or the biggest group, that come back so far from being like a slave. Like, none of us knew how to read, and really up till now, it's really a big feat. I mean, out of any social group. But yes, trauma is something that we do need to address. I want to make it, I don't want to say cool again, but making it okay that, yes, I am you, you are me. We have definitely experienced some of the same things. I mean, that's dealing with poverty, with the justice system. I mean, our team they have a lot of experience in that. And I just want to have events and making it okay to discuss these things. Like, hey, I'm familiar with it. And if not myself, someone else from the team. And so just making these common discourse, or these common conversations, and making it relevant. And that will be like, bring awareness. And I think it will be a little bit more acceptable when I'm coming at you. I look the way I do. My team, we look the same. We have the same traumas, and I just want to share how we was able to combat that. And when I say practical ways, like, we know, like, according to statistics, like, women in our community are actually dying at a high disproportionate rate during childbirth.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, no, if we're gonna find practical ways, I want to go ahead and set up where we can have midwives for those. And like you mentioned, prenatal care, like just having someone to step in and just guide. When we say practical, just being available with passion and love. And knowing our own knowledge and just making it easy to follow and do the right things. And with the justice studies, like I want to have verbiage. Hey, if you get caught up somewhere, let's pull up some verbiage. Let's make sure you at least know the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Like those are some of the basic things and practical things that you just got to be aware, and it will really help some things here. Crime rate, gang violence. I mean, it's there. We see what the issues is, and it's just, hey, let's get a team to go out there and bring unity, love. I mean, that's the framework too. We
Well,
actually love the people.
well, I'm glad you brought up the your rights and amendments. But it's I think a lot, and I've done this in the past. Everyone should know their rights. I mean, I say, along with what you've mentioned, the first five amendments define our citizenship. You know,
Mm.
and most people, and here's a common question I ask, and it shouldn't be this way, but I know it's not taught in school anymore. What are the first three words of the preamble? Do you
We the
know?
people.
There you go. We
Honestly, I know that whole thing, and it's just how school just gets you programmed. But yeah, we the
Yeah,
people.
but that's important. But you'd be surprised how many times, if I ask 100 people, probably only one person will answer like you did. They're like, "What's the first thing? What's the preamble?" And when I was in school, the Constitution was part of the curriculum. And I remember way back on Saturday mornings, they used to have this cartoon. It was called Schoolhouse Rock.
Love that. Hold on. I think how's the value?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
All right, good. Yeah, that's great. I got plenty of equipment, but like I said, the first five amendments, the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all of these things. Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. The Fourth Amendment is defines how you can interact, especially with law enforcement behind searches and seizures. And the Fifth Amendment is the right to remain silent. And a lot of times people talk too much. They tell because law enforcement they're trained to question you for you to incriminate yourself. And these are
Mm-hmm.
basic rights that all of us have. And especially, proportionally, people of color are usually stopped more. They have more interaction with law enforcement. So all of these things, like you said, along with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, those things are not pushed or taught anymore. And it's
Right.
unfortunate that it's like that. But, my problem with that issue in itself is that um, with the internet, the flow of information is free. If you don't know how to do something or you don't know something, it's because you don't want to know. Because all you got to do is pick up your phone.
Right. Joe, that's true.
I mean, I'm a big, we call it YouTube University, and like I say, if you don't know how to do something, just like a couple of years ago, I dropped my laptop and cracked the screen. So I ordered a new screen, and the people were like, well, we can put that screen in for $100. Well, I don't have $100. And I was talking with a friend of mine. He said, man, just go on YouTube. So I typed in my computer model, how to install the screen. Somebody made a 10-minute video.
Right.
And it was so simple. You take the cover off. There's 4 screws, top, bottom. You pull it out, pop it out. Boom, it's there. But you pay for what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the problems that we have, because that's what gets me with all the technology and kids today. They know all these different things that are inconsequential. But I know you're going to change some of that with culturally innovative minds.
Yes, we're definitely up for the challenge. And again, I mean, it is actually fairly simple. Like you said, knowledge is power.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. So, like I said, we talked about some of your goals. So, where do you see your organization going in the next 6 to 12 months? What's up? What's in store? What can we be looking forward to?
Well, we definitely want to do a community launch, just letting everybody know about culturally innovative minds. And it was like, what better way than a community cookout? Like, who does not love to come together with some food, children, unity, and then, just start and letting people know about the different areas and how that can benefit them. All of this is free of charge. And so we definitely want that coming up. We see ourselves having like mobile therapy sessions. We got some knowledge on quantum physics and how powerful words and music and instrumentation is to your well-being. Like, we really want to go in, look at on it on a scientific level, and kind of tailor it for us and my community. So we definitely see some mobile therapy sessions coming up. Want to surely go ahead and get some allies with any sort of Rex, Haynes Hosiery, the Boys and Girls Club. So, hey, we can go there and start there, and people can meet. We can do our mentoring, also our tutoring. Then I know a couple of principals too, especially at Ashley Elementary. So I know the people. It's just trying to get this tied in. Building allies is what my number one thing is. In this next year, whenever we launch this first community event, I want to make sure that other small organizations, big or large, I also want to be involved too, because it's all about the outreach and it's all about the people and making sure they're aware of that. So, yeah, we're just ready to be hands-on.
I can tell you just chomping at the bit right there.
Sound like a little bit of justice study. We might need to get you on our team too.
Well,
Stuff that can go a long way.
Well, I have an intimate knowledge of the law system and the justice system because I was involved with it, not in the best way, but that's something. You're right. It's just like ministering or witnessing to people. If you've never been an addict, you can't talk to somebody who's been on drugs because you don't have any experience to reference, and they'll know that you're not being genuine because you don't know really what it's like. I tell people all the time, because now over here in my community, I live over here near East Western Shopping Center right off of New Walkertown Road, and we have a huge homeless population over here. And, lots of people, they look down on the homeless. And, but, these are people. I mean, there's somebody's brother, sister, cousin, mother, father, but not everybody that's homeless is an addict or an alcoholic. A large percentage of them do have mental issues. That's why they're on the street, And I know there's one statistic that Winston-Salem, or is it the state of North Carolina? It's either Winston-Salem or the state of North Carolina has the fastest growing homeless population. I think if it's the state, then it's in the country. But it could be Winston-Salem that is fastest growing homeless. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Winston-Salem has the fastest growing homeless population in the state, because I went to this focus group and they were talking about homelessness and how they want to combat that. But, and that's one of my passions is helping out the homeless, because I was almost homeless at one time. But, definitely. I'll be glad to put my 2 cents in, how much I can help.
Yeah, definitely. Just really awareness. I want to touch the juvenile detention center, hey, make it open for anybody who has a case open. Just need some basic counsel, because sometimes, like you said, just sitting there and saying nothing is saying something. That's basic knowledge that can really go a long way. So, yeah, we definitely want to get involved with that, and just outreach, making sure that everyone knows that we are here. Definitely go on my Facebook page. Like I said, we have an awesome team that has knowledge. And then also, when you talk about the homeless, we also have a passion because, we come from some humbling beginnings too in the team. All these areas we have a passion for, and we just have experience in it. And all of us has a lot of years of that. And so that's where that passion and that fight for the people come in. Because like you said, you don't know about it until you have been there.
That's exactly. Now you said
how it is. You can't judge somebody. Like I don't
Yeah,
judge anyone, you know,
what
because
they
I've
do.
definitely seen that, seen some things
Yeah,
direct.
what they do. That's the thing. I've had people say, "Well, I could never be homeless." And I say, you know what? Most people are only one paycheck away from being homeless.
Better with that, but it was just a couple of slides for a
Right.
couple of statistics here in Winston. Um, just showing how things is definitely an issue and how there's surely a need for CIM. So
Yeah. Well, we got. I mean, in our community and in the country at large. Now my opinion is, and of course, I'm a very traditional guy. I think everything stems from the fact that we have more single parent homes being headed by women. And again, I'm not bashing women. I was raised by a single mother, but I don't know, but there is a website. It's called oh man, what is it? Blackdemographics.com. And
mm-hmm.
it's a website for black people, hosted by black people. There's a lot of information on there about our people when it comes to how many black people are married. It goes into every area. Uh, Income, all of the disparities between the racial groups, and our people are the least married of all racial groups. But prior to 1965, black people were married at an 80% rate. And that dropped down to somewhere around 28-30% of in today's world. And I think that directly correlates in the decline of our society in our communities. Is that we don't have the traditional nuclear family like we did, because um, we've always been together and been families, even from slavery, from chattel slavery to Reconstruction, Jim Crow. Black people have always been together, and that's mostly been out of necessity. And I've said this: one of the worst things that could ever happen is integration, because now we've integrated with the dominant society and taken on some of their behaviors and their values. When we were segregated, uh, we we spent our money in our communities. We had black doctors, we had black lawyers. We spent our money, and now I think, uh, and I could be wrong, but uh, people of color's money circulates, within 24 hours.
Yeah, it's something crazy, like only like 8 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that in our community. Yeah, but you know what? I mean, from slavery, you're right. When we was in bondage, I mean, we was having more of a family dynamics that we have now. I think we need to be a little bit more intentional with family building.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
I think we need to be doing some of that. And I mean, the prison system. I mean, there's a lot of our brothers that are locked up. I mean,
Mhm.
and I know we're like, yeah, they're coming home, but no, that really does impact how many women here gets married. You
Well,
know, it
there are more women than men anyway, and it's designed to be that way. That's how we propagate the species. But here's another stat you may not know. If every black woman married a black man, if every black man got married, the eligible black man married a black woman, there would still be 2 million black women who wouldn't have a husband, because there'd be no more men to marry,
mm,
no more black men. But I
wow.
noticed that, over the years, and some black women, I'm not trying to categorize all black women, but they treat some of us like we're disposable. And, oh, I can just get another one, because that Beyonce song, I can get another one in a minute.
To the left, yeah,
And that ties into what you were talking about, how music influences people's thinking,
yeah.
you know. And we need each other. Women, black women don't need to be independent.
No.
They need to be dependent, because I need you and you need me.
We are social beings. There's no way saying that we need to be by ourselves and we don't need anyone. That's not even true. That's not even science.
Yeah.
We are social beings. Yes, we need one another.
You
And
know.
I really want to talk about unity too and bringing that back.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can't look you in the face and say, "Hey, how are you?" Like we really need to come along. We need to evolve now, and I get it. We're hurt and scared to trust, but I think trying to come and give ways to deal with these issues and trauma and know that, hey, I'm just like you. We're dealing with the same stuff and we can help each other get through it.
Well, it's like you said when you use the word intentional. I tell young black men, if you don't, and this might be tricky, and hopefully we won't get censored, but don't mess with a young lady. If you don't intend in marrying this woman and having a family with her, leave her alone.
Mm.
Because there are men out here who are just dropping seed and have no intention of being a father. But on the other side of that, ladies, because when I was coming up, you marry before you carry. Because if you have 2 or 3 kids by 2 or 3 guys, and then after you've made all these bad choices, now you say, oh, I've made all these mistakes, I want a decent man. Well, there are not many men out here who want to raise somebody else's children. Because what's going to happen, the first time something jumps off, those kids going to say what? You ain't my daddy. And there's no incentive for a man to raise another man's children, because most men, black or any race, we marry because we want legacy. I know that's a radical thought for a lot of people, but it's true. Because and like I said, I grew up in a different time, and I was out there doing my thing, but I'm like, don't have unprotected. There's 27 forms of contraception. Nobody should get pregnant unless they just want to. And again, it goes back to when we talked about the music and watching TV, because they call it programming for a reason. You're being programmed. And these are things that I know you're trying to break some of these cycles. And you talked about evolve. I'm saying we need to get back to a more, for lack of a better word, traditional family. Mom and dad, kids in the house together. Because like I say, if you go pull up the stat, and this is not just for people of color, you go to the U.S. Census, it's confirmed children always do better in a 2-parent home. Because
you do need that yin and yang. You do need that balance.
Yeah, each parent brings something to those children. The mother is the nurturer and all of those things, but men bring order and discipline. And look at how our children are today. They are not ordered and they are not disciplined. They're not respectful for the most part. I mean, and let me get off my soapbox. Because my wife and I, we on our other YouTube channel, we talk about dating with intention. We talk about bringing families back together. Women need to stop being out here struggling by themselves, trying to raise a family by themselves. But then don't say you don't need no man, but then you want child support.
I think that's all a ploy. Like all of this stuff is really systematic, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's just it. They want to push this agenda. Hey, you're a black woman. You want to be independent, right? You don't need a man, right? And then they're like, you know what? You're right. I don't. But no.
But
that's
you do.
An agenda that they're pushing, right? And then they're pushing this hypersexuality of the black woman. I mean, none of this stuff is right.
Right.
People running with it. So whenever you're like, oh, these women have all these fathers and, this and that, baby daddies or baby fathers, it's like, that's almost kind of like society is really pushing and molding these type of agendas. And you're not really strong enough mentally, you're going to follow the wave. You're going to follow that trend of better words. But
our power base has always been the black family. That's how we survived through all of that we've survived, is the black family. And men need women. We need y'all. Because how are we going to propagate ourselves if we don't have children with you? But do it the right way, because, again, no disrespect to single moms, but if you have a young boy in a household like me, I grew up in a house. I was the only boy in my mother's house. I had 3 sisters. I had no male figure to teach me. And that's one of the reasons why I got into some of the trouble. I didn't even have a father to discipline me and say, look, you need to stop doing some of this stuff. I'm going to beat the crap out of you. You know, all of these things come into play, you know. And again, I don't want to get too deep into it because we could talk about this issue right here for a minute.
It goes deep, and we can go a while for it. And that's what I love, though. I love these deep conversations because it almost feels my passion. Like, you know what, this stuff is wrong. We need to go out there right now. We're going to have an event on unity and being intentional with relationships and having a healthy family dynamics and bringing that in. Yes,
That's what it
it's
is.
possible. It's possible.
It is. You know, if women like yourself would talk to other women and tell them when they're wrong, you know, but that's tough because you know what they're going to say, mind your business. Well, you are my business because look at our communities. Look how fractured they are, you know. You know, because
you definitely gotta be very soft with the approach, you know, because you definitely don't want to offend anyone, and this is not what we're trying to do neither. It's like, yo, we just trying to help.
But how can you get offended by the truth?
Hey, the truth hurts sometimes. Somebody tell you the truth, you be like, wait a minute, and you know, your automatic action is gonna be combative. You know, you're gonna try to, of course, defend yourself because you're like, whoa. You know, so it is a fine area you have to tiptoe on. But
check this out, Danielle. You know, because I do this with young men, and I get the same reaction. You know, well, you don't know what you're talking about, this and the third. I said, but brother, I love you, and I want you to be better. Because look at where you are now. Can you honestly say this is better? You know, and women can do the same thing. Now it comes out of love. You're right. You have to say it in a certain way, but don't sugarcoat it. You know, because if you don't check women, they'll just keep doing what they're doing and thinking it's okay. That's what, because I'll check me. If they wrong, brother, you wrong. Because I talked to a young man today when I got off work. He was telling me that he's got a daughter with this young lady. She got 4 other kids by 4 other men. He's number 3 father. And found out that his daughter's twerking and doing all that, and she's 7 years old. I said, brother, you need to get your child. Because this woman, I don't know her, but if she's allowing that to happen in the household and he's not there, and he's like, well, I get in the summertime. I said, bro, that's not enough. You can't influence that child. That you need to get your child out of that. If she's 7 years old and shaking her behind, where is she headed? You know? And I've heard several stories about women actually pimping their daughters to men. They bring these other men into the house and they pimp them. And I'm saying it the nicest way I know how to say it. Just so they can keep that man there and get more money out of it. And that's wrong.
That's definitely, that's a unique situation there, for sure.
Well, you're going to change all that.
You want to bring it, but you know what? It's all going to start off with just love. Like, I don't have to sit here and say, hey, you can't have this and you can't do that. It's going to be like, let's first start off with the love for self.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Maybe I did sell myself short, but you know what? From here on, I want to take these proper ways. I want to do things differently, you know? So that's what I think it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you want to do is admirable. I think you're going to be successful at it. And listen, that's about all the time that we have because we probably could talk another hour.
We can.
But I'm not going to do that. But what we can do is I'll have to bring you back on and we'll have another conversation, maybe in a couple of weeks after things have jumped off. But if somebody wants to get involved or wants to connect with you, how can they do that? I know you got a page on Facebook. Is there any other way that they can reach out to you?
As of right now, the Facebook is the best way to contact me. It may also be a WhatsApp app, phone number there if you want to contact with me. Like I said, mostly right now is with the Justice Studies as far as what the WhatsApp app is for, so we can give you some counsel. But definitely go on my Facebook page. You can follow me there. We'll keep you in contact with upcoming events. I'm sure out of 4 of our core areas, you or the child can definitely benefit from it. So yeah, stay tuned. Keep your ears open to the streets because
Great.
where we're gonna be at.
Well, Danielle, appreciate you. This is about all that we have, guys. Again, if you want to get in touch with Danielle, she's got her Facebook page. Please reach out to her and get involved. So, if you're enjoying the content, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Remember my 3 R's: respect yourself, respect others, and always, always take full responsibility for your actions. We'll see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Later.
See ya.